September 22, 1944. The city of Arnhem is burning. The battle is technically over. The British 1st Airborne Division has been shattered. The survivors are either swimming across the Rhine or marching into German cages. The streets are choked with debris, broken glass, crushed brick, the twisted metal of jeeps and gliders. A German recovery team moves through the Oosterbeek perimeter. They are the cleanup crew. Their job is to salvage the war machines that can be fixed and scrap the ones that can't. They are looking for Tigers, Panthers, Stugs, the heavy steel that defines the Third Reich's dominance. But on a side street, wedged against the facade of a Dutch townhouse, they find something confusing. It is a Leichter Panzerspähwagen, an SD KFZ-222, a light armored reconnaissance vehicle. This is a fast, four-wheeled Predator. It is designed to hunt infantry. It is designed to scout ahead of the panzer divisions and terrorize soft targets. The recovery engineers approach the vehicle cautiously. They expect to see the usual signs of destruction. They look for the jagged black hole of a Piage anti-tank round. They look for the scorched paint of a Molotov cocktail. They look for the telltale tracks of a landmine that shredded the suspension. They find nothing. The armor plating is pristine. The tires are inflated. The engine block, when they pop the hatch, is cold but mechanically sound. The 2-centimeter autocannon is still loaded. There is no fire damage. There is no structural failure. By all accounts, this machine should be killing. Instead, it is dead. It has been driven at high speed directly into a wall. The steering column is snapped. The axle is bent. It looks like a drunk driver lost control on a Sunday drive. But this is the Wehrmacht. They do not have drunk drivers in combat. They have disciplined operators. The mystery deepens when the medics examine the crew. The gunner is bruised but alive. The driver, however, has a specific, baffling injury. He has not been shot. He has not been hit by shrapnel. He has a puncture wound, a deep, lacerated trauma directly to the eye socket. It bypassed the bulletproof glass. It bypassed the steel visor. It found the one weakness in 4 tons of armor. The German report is sparse. The driver is delirious. He keeps repeating a phrase that the translation officers assume is a hallucination brought on by shock. He claims he was not attacked by a soldier. He claims he was attacked by a British devil with a rain stick. To understand how a multi-ton war machine was defeated by a piece of Victorian rain gear, we have to rewind the clock. We have to go back 5 days. We have to look at the sky above the Netherlands, and we have to open the dossier of a man who treated the Second World War like a fox hunt. September 17, 1944. Operation Market Garden. Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery has a plan. It is bold, it is dangerous, and, historically speaking, it is arrogant. The plan is to end the war by Christmas. The strategy is a carpet of airborne troops. 35,000 men dropping from the sky. They will capture a series of bridges across the Netherlands. They will pave a highway for the British tanks to drive straight into the industrial heart of Germany. The prize is the final bridge, Arnhem. It is the bridge too far. It is 60 miles behind enemy lines. The men dropping there are the British 1st Airborne, the Red Devils. They are the elite. They are trained to kill with knives, with wire, with their bare hands. They carry Bren guns, Sten guns, and Lee Enfields. They are weighed down by 80 pounds of kit, ammunition, rations, shovels. And then there is Major Allison Digby Tatham-Warter, commander of A Company, 2nd Battalion. Digby is 27 years old. He is tall, he is lanky, he sports a mustache that belongs in a cavalry regiment from 1914. While his men are checking their grenades and sharpening their bayonets, Digby is worried about something else. He has a terrible memory. Specifically, he cannot remember passwords. In the chaos of urban combat, forgetting the challenge and response code is a good way to get shot by your own sentries. Digby needs a way to be instantly recognized. He needs a visual signal that is so unmistakably British, so absurdly out of place, that no German infiltrator would ever think to copy it. So he packs a bowler hat. And he packs an umbrella. This is not a tactical baton. It is a standard civilian umbrella. Steel ribs, black fabric. A sharp metal ferrule at the tip. When he boards the transport plane, the jump master stares at him. "Sir," a lieutenant asks, "isn't that going to be a burden?" Digby looks at the weapon. He looks at the lieutenant. "My God, man," he says, "what if it rains?" It is a joke, but it is also a mask. Digby understands the psychology of fear. He knows that when the shooting starts, his men will look to him. If he is crouching, they will crouch. If he is terrified, they will break. But if he is walking through mortar fire holding an umbrella, looking like he is strolling down Piccadilly Circus, they will believe they are invincible. They jump. The sky over Arnhem is filled with silk. The landing is relatively unopposed, but the silence is a lie. The British intelligence has made a catastrophic error. They believe the area is defended by old men and boys, second-rate troops. They are wrong. Resting in the Arnhem sector are the remnants of the 2nd SS Panzer Corps, specifically the 9th and 10th SS Panzer Divisions. They are refitting, they are angry, and they have armor. This brings us back to the machine in the wreckage, the SDKFZ-222. To understand the impossibility of Digby's later action, you must respect the engineering of this vehicle. It is not a tank, but it is a tank killer's nightmare. It weighs 4.8 tons. It is powered by a Horch V8 engine. It can hit 50 miles per hour on a road. But its greatest asset is its geometry. The armor is not thick, only 14.5 millimeters at the front, but it is sloped. The plates are angled back at 30 degrees. This is simple physics. A bullet hitting a flat plate transfers all its energy into penetration. A bullet hitting a sloped plate deflects. It ricochets. Small arms fire bounces off the 222 like hail off a tin roof. The weapon system is equally lethal. The 2-centimeter KWK-30 autocannon fires 280 rounds per minute. These are not bullets. They are high-explosive shells. A single hit will turn a human body into a red mist. A burst will disintegrate a brick wall. The Paras have nothing that can touch it. They have rifles. They have Sten guns that fire pistol ammunition. They have the Payat, a spring-loaded anti-tank weapon that is notoriously unreliable and has an effective range of point blank. As night falls on September 17th, the trap snaps shut. The British reach the bridge, but they are cut off. The radios fail. The supply drops land in German hands. The perimeter shrinks. Digby and A Company are tasked with holding a sector of the town. The streets are narrow. The houses are tall, Dutch brick structures. It is a claustrophobic kill box. The Germans probe the lines. They send infantry first. The Paras hold them back. Then they send the half-tracks. The Paras hold them back. The Germans realize that these British soldiers are not going to surrender. They need to dig them out. They need something that can drive right up to the front door and blow it down. They start the engines of the armored cars. The SDKFZ-222s begin to roll. They are loud. They are terrifying. They move with the confidence of machines that know they are immune to the weapons facing them. Inside one of these cars, a young German driver peers through his vision slit. It is a narrow, rectangular gap in the steel armor. It is his only view of the world. It is 2 inches high and 6 inches wide. He sees burning buildings. He sees dead bodies. He sees the muzzle flashes of British rifles. He feels safe. He is encased in steel. He believes he is untouchable. He does not see the man in the bowler hat. He does not see the umbrella. The stage is set. The physics of war say the armored car wins. The logic of combat says the man with the umbrella dies. But in Arnhem, logic has left the building. The collision is coming, and when it happens, it will not be decided by ballistics. It will be decided by the speed of a human hand against the blind spot of a machine. But first, Digby has to survive the morning, and the Germans are bringing up the mortars. The car is a fortress. Digby is flesh and bone. The German armor is advancing, and the British ammunition is running low. How does an umbrella bridge the gap between certain death and impossible victory? To find out, we have to step into the killing zone of September 18th. Monday, September 18, 1944. Dawn breaks over Arnhem. It is not a hopeful sunrise. It is gray. It is cold. The light filters through a haze of suspended brick dust and smoke. The city smells of wet plaster and unburied dead. The plan is dead. The timeline is shattered. The British 1st Airborne is no longer an invasion force. They are a besieged garrison. They are surrounded on 3 sides. The Rhine River is at their backs. The German 2nd SS Panzer Corps is to their front. The radio blackout is total. The crystals in the British wireless sets are the wrong frequency. They cannot talk to the RAF. They cannot talk to the artillery. They cannot talk to the relief column driving up from the south. They are alone. In the center of this collapse is Major Digby Tatham-Warter. Most officers in this situation would be frantic. They would be shouting orders. They would be digging deeper foxholes. Digby is doing something else. He is strolling. He moves between the shattered houses of his sector. He is wearing his maroon beret. Sometimes he swaps it for the bowler hat. Under his arm, tucked against his denizen smock, is the umbrella. It looks like madness. It looks like a hallucination, but it is a calculated psychological anchor. The fighting in Arnhem is confused. It is house to house, room to room. In the smoke and the noise, uniforms look gray. Silhouettes blur. The fear of blue-on-blue, friendly fire is constant. Nervous soldiers shoot at movement. They shoot at shadows. But nobody shoots at the man with the umbrella. "Come along," he tells a group of terrified privates. "Nothing to worry about." He uses the umbrella to point out sniper positions. He waves it to signal advances. When the mortars start falling, raining shrapnel onto the cobblestones, Digby opens the umbrella. He holds it over his head. A fellow officer, crouched in a doorway, stares at him. "Digby," he yells, "that thing won't stop bullets." Digby looks at the silk canopy. He looks at the officer. "My dear chap," he replies, "I should hope not, but it might offer some comfort." It is absurd. It is theatrical, but it works. The men see him. They see that he is not afraid. And if the major isn't afraid, maybe they don't have to be either. The panic subsides. The line holds. But the Germans are done playing games. The German commander of the sector realizes that infantry assaults are too costly. The British paras are stubborn. They are dug in like ticks. Every time the Germans rush a house, they are met with a wall of Lee Enfield fire and Mills bombs. So the Germans change the equation. They stop sending men, they start sending machines. They bring up the self-propelled guns, they bring up the flak wagons, and they bring up the SDKFC 222s. The armored cars move slowly. They use the buildings for cover. They are hunting. Their target is A Company, Digby's sector. The tactical problem is simple. The British are inside the brick houses. The brick provides cover against rifle fire. It stops 9mm bullets. It stops 7.92mm machine gun rounds. It does not stop a 20mm high-explosive shell. The SDKFC 222 turns the corner. It is a wedge of gray steel. The turret rotates. The long barrel of the KWK-30 sniffs the air. It locks onto the ground floor of the townhouse where Digby's men are positioned. The noise is unique. It is not a bang. It is a rhythmic, mechanical hammering. Thump, 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 thump. The shells impact the brickwork. They do not just punch holes, they detonate. The masonry explodes. Red dust fills the air. The wall disintegrates. The ceiling collapses. Inside, it is hell. Men are screaming. The air is filled with flying splinters of wood and hot, jagged steel. The cover is gone. The house is being surgically removed, piece by piece. Digby is in the next room. He feels the floor shake. He knows exactly what is happening. They are being dismantled. "Get the Payat!" someone screams. The Payat, the projector, infantry, anti-tank. It is the British answer to armor. It is a heavy, awkward tube. It does not use a rocket. It uses a giant spring. A massive steel spring that launches a shaped charge bomb. To fire it, you have to cock the spring. It takes 2 men and immense strength. To aim it, you have to guess the arc. It kicks like a mule. And if you don't hit the tank at a flat angle, the bomb doesn't explode. It bounces. A Payat team scrambles to the window. The 222 is 50 yards away. It is stationary. It is stationary. It is pumping shells into the building. The gunner is methodical. He is working his way from left to right. The British soldier lines up the sights. He holds his breath. He pulls the massive trigger. Thwump. The bomb arcs through the air. It looks like a flying mortar shell. It strikes the front glacis plate of the German car. Clang. It does not explode. It hits the sloped armor at a bad angle. It deflects. It spins harmlessly into the gutter. The German gunner notices the flash. He rotates the turret. He ignores the rest of the house. He focuses on the window with the Payat team. Thump, thump, thump. The window frame vanishes. The wall around it vanishes. The Payat team is gone. Silence returns for a second. Then the German engine revs. The car lurches forward. It is coming closer. It wants to finish the job. It wants to drive right into the living room. Digby watches this from a doorway. He has a Webley revolver. It fires a .38 caliber bullet. Against the hardened steel of the SDKFZ 222, it is useless. He has a radio that doesn't work. He has a platoon that is pinned down, bleeding, and terrified. He looks at the approaching monster. It is loud. It is confident. It is blind to everything except what is directly in front of its gun. Digby looks at his hand. He is holding the umbrella. He tightens his grip on the wooden handle. The logic of the situation is clear. If he stays in the house, he dies. If he runs away, his men die. The only option left is the one that makes no sense. He has to attack. He has to close the distance. He has to get inside the machine's guard. He has to do it before the gunner swings the barrel back towards him. He adjusts his bowler hat. He steps out into the street. The rain has stopped, but a different kind of storm is about to break. The PIAT failed. The heavy weapons are gone. Digby is stepping into the open against a 20mm cannon with nothing but a rain stick. The German gunner is reloading. The distance is 50 yards. How does a man outrun a turret traverse? The physics of the next 10 seconds are impossible. The distance between Major Digby Tatham-Warter and the German armored car is 50 yards. In modern combat, 50 yards is an eternity. It is enough space for a machine gun to fire 500 rounds. It is enough space for a man to die 10 times over. Digby does not crawl, he does not weave, he sprints. He breaks cover with the explosive energy of a track athlete. He is a tall man. His strides are long. He is holding the umbrella in his right hand, pointed forward like a lance. He is holding his bowler hat on his head with his left hand to keep it from flying off in the wind. From the perspective of the British soldiers watching from the ruins, it looks like suicide. It looks like the major has finally snapped under the pressure. They stop firing. They watch. They are paralyzed by the sheer audacity of the image. But inside the German machine, a different psychological phenomenon is taking place. To understand why Digby is not cut in half by the autocannon, you have to understand the interior of an SDKFZ-222. It is a sensory deprivation tank. The engine is a V8 Hork. It is loud. The transmission whines. The empty shell casings from the 20mm cannon are clattering on the steel floor. The crew is buttoned up. The hatches are closed. The commander is the gunner. He is looking through a telescopic sight. His field of view is narrow. It is magnified. He is looking at the windows of the second floor, searching for the Piat team. He is not looking at the street level. The driver, sitting low in the hull, has a different problem. He is looking through the Fahrerseeklappe, the driver's vision slit. It is a rectangular slot cut into the armor plate. It is protected by a block of bulletproof glass. But in the heat of battle, with dust and mud obscuring the glass, many drivers open the secondary armored shutter just a fraction. They need to see. They need air. The driver sees movement. His brain tries to process the data. If he saw a soldier with a bazooka, he would panic. If he saw a soldier with a satchel charge, he would reverse. But he sees a man in a bowler hat. He sees a man with an umbrella. This is the cognitive gap. For 2 critical seconds, the German driver is confused. The image does not fit his mental model of warfare. Is it a civilian? Is it a surrender? Is it a joke? In those 2 seconds, Digby closes 30 yards. The driver realizes his mistake. He shouts to the gunner, but the intercom is scratchy. The gunner is firing the cannon. Thump, thump, thump. He doesn't hear the driver. He doesn't rotate the turret. Digby is now 10 yards away. The driver grabs the gear stick. He tries to find reverse. But the gearbox on a 222 is notorious. It is stiff. You have to wrestle it. He grinds the gears. The car lurches, but it doesn't move back. It stalls. Digby is at the bumper. This is the moment where technology fails. The SDKFZ-222 is designed to fight armies. It is designed to engage targets at 500 meters. It has no defense against a man standing 2 feet away. The gun barrel is too long to depress. The machine gun cannot angle down. The armored car has a dead zone, and Digby is standing right in the center of it. He does not climb the vehicle. That would take too long. He stays on the ground. He looks at the front plate. He sees the slit. He sees the eyes of the driver widening in terror behind the narrow gap. Digby raises the umbrella. It is a standard British umbrella. Ash wood handle, steel ribs, black silk, and a steel ferrule at the tip. It is not a weapon. It is a tool for keeping dry. But in the hands of a man with zero hesitation, any pointed object is a spear. Digby lunges. He thrusts the umbrella through the observation slit. The mechanics of this are improbable. The slit is barely 3 inches high. The umbrella tip is half an inch wide. Digby has to thread a needle while his heart is hammering at 180 beats per minute. He doesn't miss. The steel tip passes through the gap. It bypasses the armored shutter. It enters the cabin. The driver is leaning forward, trying to see. The umbrella meets his face. It is a violent, grotesque intrusion. The ferrule strikes the driver directly in the left eye socket. It is not a lethal blow, but it is agonizing. The eye is a sensitive organ. The pain is blinding. It is immediate. It overrides all training. It overrides all discipline. The driver screams. He recoils. He throws his hands up to his face. In doing so, he lets go of the steering wheel. His foot spasms. He stomps down, not on the brake, on the accelerator. The V8 engine roars. The 4.8-ton vehicle surges forward. Digby jumps back. He sidesteps like a matador avoiding a bull. The armored car shoots past him. The driver is blind. He is in agony. He is disoriented. The vehicle is out of control. It careens down the narrow street. It clips a lamppost. It shears off a garden wall. The gunner in the turret is thrown around like a doll. He tries to traverse the gun, but the chassis is spinning. He cannot aim. He cannot fire. 50 yards down the road, the street ends. There is a solid brick storefront, a bakery. The SDKFZ 222 hits the wall at 30 miles per hour. Crunch. The sound of metal crumpling is sickening. The front axle snaps. The armor plate buckles. The engine dies instantly. Steam hisses from the radiator. The threat is neutralized. The monster is dead. Digby stands in the middle of the street. He is breathing hard. He looks at his umbrella. The fabric is torn. The frame is bent. The tip is covered in blood. He adjusts his bowler hat. He turns back to his men, who are peering out of the ruins with their mouths open. They are stunned. They have just watched a man disable a tank with a parasol. Digby walks back towards the British lines. He looks at the bent umbrella. He frowns. "Useful thing," he mutters. "Pity about the shape." But the victory is fleeting. The car is dead, but the army behind it is not. The Germans have seen this. They are insulted. They are embarrassed. And now they are angry. The 9th SS Panzer Division does not like being mocked. They are bringing up the Tigers. Digby has won the duel, but he has revealed his position. The Germans know exactly where the Mad Major is. They are done with reconnaissance. They are sending the heavy armor to flatten the entire block. And Digby has nowhere left to run. The crash of the SDKFZ 222 is a victory, but in the grand calculus of the Battle of Arnhem, it is a rounding error. It is a single data point of defiance in a sea of catastrophic failure. The Germans are not amused. The humiliation of the armored car driver spreads through the radio network. The report reaches the SS commanders. They decide that the sector held by the British madman is no longer a tactical nuisance. It is an ideological problem. They stop sending light reconnaissance vehicles. They stop sending half-tracks. They send the Tigers. The Tiger I is 57 tons of hardened steel. Its main gun is an 88mm cannon derived from an anti-aircraft weapon. It can put a shell through a house and out the other side. It does not have vision slits that can be exploited by an umbrella. It does not have a gearbox that stalls when a driver panics. It is a machine built for genocide. The shelling begins at noon. It is systematic. The Tigers park at the end of the street. They are out of range of the Piats. They simply dismantle the British positions floor by floor. Digby Tatham-Warter is no longer leading a defense. He is managing a collapse. He moves his men from the attic to the first floor. When the first floor is blown out, he moves them to the cellar. When the cellar roof caves in, he moves them to the garden. He is bleeding. He has been hit by shrapnel. A jagged piece of hot metal has sliced into his leg. He does not limp. He does not drop the bowler hat. "Get the Bren gun to the flank," he shouts. His voice is hoarse. The air is so thick with brick dust that the men are coughing up red phlegm. The unflappable, Major, is finally being tested. The umbrella is gone, lost in the rubble of the last command post. But the symbol remains. He grabs a piece of broken furniture, a table leg, and waves it like a baton. "Don't let them see you wince," he yells. But courage has a limit. That limit is ammunition. By the evening of September 20th, A Company is combat ineffective. They have no grenades, they have no anti-tank rounds. The Lee Enfield rifles are clicking on empty chambers. The men are using bayonets. They are fighting with knives. They are fighting with bricks. The radio finally crackles to life. It is not a message of hope. It is the order to retreat. Operation Berlin, the evacuation across the river. But Digby's sector is cut off. They cannot reach the river. They are an island of maroon berets in a sea of field gray. The Germans close in. They do not rush. They are cautious. They know these men are dangerous even when cornered. They throw smoke grenades. They shout surrender demands in broken English. Digby looks at his men. They are gaunt. Their eyes are hollow. They are covered in blood and filth. If they fight for 5 more minutes, they will all die. There is no glory in a massacre. Digby makes the choice. It is the hardest choice of his life. He orders the weapons destroyed. The bolts are removed from the rifles and thrown into the sewers. The maps are burned. He steps out. He raises his hands. The capture is chaotic. The SS troops are aggressive. They strip the British officers of their pistols. They take their watches. They look for the umbrella. They don't find it. Digby is marched to St. Elizabeth Hospital. This is not a sanctuary, it is a slaughterhouse. The hospital is in German hands, but British doctors are allowed to treat the wounded. The corridors are lined with stretchers. The floor is slick with blood. The smell is a physical weight. Gangrene, ether, unwashed bodies, and death. Digby is examined. His wounds are real. He is classified as a casualty. This saves him from immediate transport to a Stalag in Germany. He is placed in a ward on the 2nd floor. Most men, upon being captured, enter a state of shock. They become passive. They accept their fate. They wait for the war to end. Digby Tatham-Warter does not wait. He lies in the hospital bed. He watches the guards. He studies their rotation. He counts the seconds between the sentry passing the door and the nurse changing the bandages. He is applying the same forensic observation he used on the armored car. He is looking for the vision slit. He is looking for the blind spot. He finds it. The German guards are confident. They believe the British are too injured to run. They believe the hospital is secure. Digby waits for the shift change. It is twilight. The light is failing. The confusion in the ward is at its peak. He stands up. His leg screams in protest. He ignores it. He finds a window. It is unguarded. He opens it. The air outside is cold and damp. It smells of the river. He does not look back. He climbs onto the sill. He drops. He hits the ground. He rolls. He is free. But freedom in Arnhem is a relative term. He is alone. He is unarmed. He is wearing a blood-stained British uniform in a city occupied by 10,000 SS troops. Every street corner is a checkpoint. Every bridge is guarded. He needs camouflage. He needs a disguise. He finds a farmhouse on the outskirts. He finds a Dutch civilian willing to risk execution to help him. Digby trades his uniform for a set of civilian clothes, a worn jacket, baggy trousers. And then he does something that defines his character. He does not hide in a cellar. He does not cower. He creates a fake identity. He poses as a deaf-mute son of a Dutch lawyer. He gets a bicycle. For the next 4 weeks, Major Digby Tatham-Warter, the man who fought tanks with an umbrella, cycles around the German defenses. He gathers intelligence. He counts tanks. He maps minefields. He is not just surviving, he is still fighting. But the cost of the battle is catching up to him. The adrenaline is fading. The reality of the disaster is setting in. Of the 10,000 men who landed at Arnhem, only 2,400 made it back across the river. The rest are dead or capturing. The 1st Airborne Division has ceased to exist as a fighting force. Digby is a ghost haunting a graveyard. He has one final mission. He knows there are other survivors hiding in the woods, other men who missed the boat, other men who refused to surrender. He has to find them. He has to lead them home. He needs a plan. He needs a route. And, if the rumors are true, he manages to find a new umbrella. Digby is loose behind enemy lines. He has a bicycle and a fake ID. But there are 138 British soldiers hiding in the swamps, starving and freezing. The Germans are hunting them with dogs. Digby plans to march them right through the German front lines. How do you smuggle a company of men past the SS without firing a shot? October 22, 1944. The forests near Ede, occupied Netherlands. The Battle of Arnhem has been over for a month. The British Army has officially written off the 1st Airborne Division. The families back in England have received the telegrams. Missing in action, presumed captured, killed. But in the dense woods north of the Rhine, the dead are walking. Major Digby Tatham-Warter has not been idle. While the German SS units scour the countryside hunting for stragglers, Digby has been building an army. He has linked up with the Dutch resistance. He has used his fake identity to travel between hiding spots. He has gathered the lost sheep. There are 138 of them. They are hiding in barns. They are hiding in chicken coops. They are hiding in holes dug beneath the roots of trees. They are starving. They are freezing. They are armed with a handful of Stens and a few revolvers. Digby has a plan to get them out. It is called Operation Pegasus. It is not a stealth mission. It is a mass migration. The plan requires marching 138 men through the heart of the German defensive line, right under the noses of the sentries to the banks of the Rhine. The column forms up at midnight. They wrap their boots in rags to muffle the sound on the asphalt. They blacken their faces with burnt cork. At the head of the column is Digby. He is not crawling. He is on a bicycle. He has removed the bell, he has oiled the chain, he pedals slowly, setting the pace. He is wearing his civilian disguise, but he still wears the maroon beret. And, according to the survivors, he has acquired a new umbrella. The column moves. They pass within 200 yards of a German machine gun nest. The soldiers hold their breath. The only sound is the wind in the pines and the soft whir of Digby's tires on the road. A German patrol vehicle approaches. The headlights sweep the trees. Digby signals the halt. 138 men freeze. They become part of the landscape. They do not breathe. The vehicle passes. The lights fade. Digby raises the umbrella. He waves it forward. The column moves again. They reach the riverbank. The Rhine is wide, dark, and fast. On the far side, the American 101st Airborne is waiting with boats. They flash a signal, a red light. Digby flashes back, a V sign with his torch. The boats cross. The men pile in. The water churns. As the boats pull away, leaving the German-occupied territory behind, the tension breaks. Men start to cry. Men start to laugh. Digby steps onto the southern bank. He is safe. He is back in Allied territory. The Mad Major has successfully pulled off one of the greatest escapes of the war. But as the years pass and the legend grows, historians and skeptics begin to ask the hard question: did it really happen? Did a British officer really disable a German armored car with an umbrella? Or is it a myth, a tall tale invented to cope with the trauma of defeat? We have to look at the forensics. We have to look at the evidence. The primary source is the specific testimony of the men who were there. Lieutenant Pat Barnett, a fellow officer, confirmed the umbrella. He confirmed the bowler hat. He confirmed the moment Digby led a bayonet charge wearing the hat, shouting, "Don't worry about the bullets, they've got my name on them." But the incident with the armored car, the eye poke, requires mechanical validation. Is it physically possible? We examine the SDKFC 222. We know the dimensions of the vision slit. We know the thickness of the glass block. We know that in 1944, German manufacturing standards were slipping. The glass was often cloudy. Drivers often kept the secondary armored visor open to see better in the rain. The geometry holds up. A thrust from a standing position angled slightly downward would align perfectly with the driver's seated position. But the real proof isn't mechanical, it's psychological. The umbrella kill works because it defies the OODA loop: observe, orient, decide, act. The German driver observed the umbrella. He could not orient himself because the object had no place in a battlefield context. He could not decide because his brain was stuck in a processing error. He could not act until it was too late. Digby Tatham-Warter hacked the human element of the machine. He understood that inside every tank, every bomber, and every warship, there is a scared human being looking through a tiny window. If you can shock that human, the machine becomes useless. After the war, Digby moved to Kenya. He bought a farm. He organized a safari company. He never spoke much about his heroism. He didn't think it was heroic. He thought it was practical. He died in 1993. But his legacy is not just a funny anecdote. It is a profound lesson on the nature of warfare. We tend to obsess over the specifications. We look at the armor thickness of the Tiger. We look at the range of the V-2 rocket. We look at the rate of fire of the MG-42. We convince ourselves that war is a math problem. We believe that the side with the biggest numbers wins. Digby proved us wrong. He proved that morale is a weapon. He proved that eccentricity is a shield. He proved that in the face of industrial slaughter, a single act of human absurdity can shatter the machine. The Germans had the tanks, they had the artillery, they had the numbers, but they did not have the man in the bowler hat. In the end, the umbrella was not a weapon, it was a flag. It was a signal to his men that civilization still existed, that manners still mattered, that no matter how much steel the enemy brought to the fight, they could not crush the British spirit. The wreckage of that SDKFC 222 was cleared away long ago. The bricks of Arnhem have been rebuilt. The bridge is now named the John Frost Bridge. But if you walk down the quiet streets of Oosterbeek on a rainy September afternoon and you listen closely to the wind, you might hear it. Not the roar of an engine, not the crack of a rifle, but the polite, rhythmic tap of an umbrella on the cobblestones, and the quiet confidence of a man who knew that rain and Germans were just things to be managed.